Hi all, this is Once and Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last time was a run that continued the trend of getting increasingly brutal at the end game, as we sought out to see if I could beat Pokemon Emerald with just a single Aron. Definitely an experience. Today though, we return to Generation 5 and see if I can beat Pokemon White 2 with just a single Pidove. Pidove is not that fantastic. It is widely regarded as the most hated regional bird. We've got a 264 base stat total, with our best stat being attack at 55. HP and defense are slightly lower, but everything else is worse. We're normal and flying type, so we're weak to rock, electric and ice. We're immune to ground and ghost, plus we resist bug and grass. Move-wise, it is unsettling just how few attacking moves we can learn. Air Cutter is special and uses our worst attacking stat, but combined with one of our possible abilities, it might be quite good. Sky Attack has a drawback of having to charge up and not being 100% accurate, so I probably won't bother with many of these moves. Via TM, it is slightly better, not by much, but slightly. We can get Aerial Ace, so we do get a physical flying attack, or Pluck if we wanted to go down that route. How do we not get Acrobatics? There's also U-Turn. That's the only other attacking coverage we get. Bar Hidden Power, but it's not going to be that useful. I might get use out of Work Up and Taunt as well as Return. We do get Heat Wave via Tutor, so that might be useful. Predictions before the start. I think we should be okay up to the Electric Gym, and then things might get rough. Given Clay and Skylar both have Steel types and Marlon has a Rock type, I'm not looking forward to those battles. However, I think the worst fight of this run is going to be Colress by a country mile, particularly his Magneton and Magnezone. The rules. In combat, I can only use Pidove. Other Pokemon will be needed for HMs, but I won't be able to fight with them. Only held items and Pokeballs in battle, but healing is permitted outside of battle. Last of all, no glitches or exploits. This challenge was suggested by Patreon Jason Cabanuk. As always, if you do enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe and ring that bell. It is time for the Universal Pokemon Randomizer, and I use it to replace Tepig with Pidove, so that I can do the whole run with the bird. I chose to replace Tepig so that our rival will have Samurott, which is definitely going to be the hardest for us to fight, since it's the only one we can't hit for super effective damage. Our ability is either going to be Big Pecs or Super Luck. Hidden ability is Rivalry, and I really hope it isn't that. Perhaps this is the first time I've not wanted a hidden ability. Big Pecs stops our defense being lowered. Super Luck makes us more likely to crit. Anyway, we get to Bianca and she gives us this garden variety Pidove, which I'm happy to take. Well, I'm going to take anyway. Let's not push it with happiness. I think I'm going to hate this bird come the end. And on that note, because Pidove is widely regarded as the least favourite regional bird for many, when it does come to nicknaming her, I nickname her the Hated One, because why not? My Pidove has the Bashful nature, which is a neutral nature, so nothing particularly bad there, but we do also have the Super Luck ability, which I think is going to suit us majestically. There is a fight with Hugh shortly after, and we'll have to see how this one goes. I think it'll be fine if I'm honest. It's not like I'm intimidated by Oshawott. Not yet anyway. Later in the game, that might be the case, but I think we'll be fine here. He managed to hatch an Oshawott from an egg, apparently, which I would say is good going. That line is probably my least favourite water starter. I do like Gen 5, but it did have my least favourite water starter and probably my least favourite fire starter too. Anyway, we are operating at a speed tie versus Oshawott. Sometimes we hit first and sometimes it hits first, though it only lands one tackle. We proceed to belt it with gust attacks to inflict about a third of its health on it each time, so it's not long before we do have it down. I do like how its little sprite animations make it look like it's swaying in the wind. Moving on, victory. I do a bit of training. I want attack EVs and fast, so I set about inflicting myself on the local wildlife and making sure we get stronger. I can see us needing to be overleveled going into the second half of the game. There's Patrat here and Purloin too, so we can be that bit faster, which given we've had that speed tie already is kinda worrying. It is not long until I make my way onto Flockacy Ranch and then the rival challenges us to a fight once again. But I'm not worried as we've been training hard and the hated one is level 12 by now, so this should be an easy enough battle. I really have no worries as the fight begins and we immediately one-hit Oshawott with a crit quick attack to give us the victory, and if every rival fight is that simple then we will have an easy time of it. Before long it is time to go and face Cheran for the first gym badge, and we've reached level 15 and learned Air Cutter, so that should be exceptionally handy, especially in conjunction with our ability. Cheran can be worrying in this game, believe it or not, because he does like to spam work up, and that could be very bad indeed. He begins with Patrat, and we start with an Air Cutter, lashing into it, but we don't get the crit, and it survives before going for work up. Another Air Cutter drops it, and we're on to his ace, Lillipup. However, this is faster and goes to work up, while we slam an Air Cutter into it for less than half its health. It hits us with tackle and also does less than half, but it is close. It survives our second Air Cutter on a sliver. I call for quick attack, but he uses the potion and survives our blow. A second quick attack drops it though, and we get the badge for the win. It's a journey to Veerbank City next, and we don't have long to wait before another major gym battle, and this one is the Poison Gym versus Roxy. There is potential to worry here, but I think we should be okay. I'm far less enthusiastic about the Pokestars Studio section, which comes next. I've got a Peachy Berry equipped for now. Feels weird doing the second gym this quickly, but it's worth remembering that by the time of the second gym in Black and White 1, we've already had about 8 rival fights. First is coughing, and we go for work up while getting smacked with assurance, which does very little. I can take those all day, so I go for a second workup while we get hit with tackle. Then I launch an Air Cutter at it, which crits and absolutely shreds coughing to give us a win. Second is Whirlipede, and this isn't a problem as we smash it with a super effective Air Cutter to take it down, and we've got the second badge. I run through the next bit of the game, and before long we've got a fight with Berg in the Castelia gym as the next major fight, since the early game here goes pretty quickly. We did get a glimpse of Colrus in the sewers and we'll have to fight him soon. Can't wait, really. When we're doing the gym puzzle, I consider the whole you'd got to travel through hives of silk to be a bit obnoxious, especially when it comes to trying to remember where to go. Wonder how bad this is going to be. In theory, Berg should be easy, but I do have to remember that he has Dwebble and it could be annoying. It has the sturdy ability here, unlike in Black and White 1. Anyway, we go for a workup versus Swadloon, and though our attack stats go up, our speed goes down when we get hit with string shot. Swadloon outspeeds us on the next turn and hits Razor Leaf, but it doesn't crit, and our Air Cutter absolutely tears it a new one. Dwebble is next and hits us with a smackdown before we land Air Cutter for big damage. Berg heals on the next turn using a Hyper Potion, but we land another Air Cutter to put it on a quarter. We get hit again, and then we take it out with another Air Cutter. Last is Lavani, and we are going to be slower, but it depends on if we survive an attack. It goes for cut, we survive, and then mess it up badly with our 4x super effective Air Cutter for maximum damage and the win. That was good, time to move on and face the next major battle. That would be Colrus on the route between Castelia City and Nimbossa City, and I'm really not looking forward to this, not least because it takes place in a sandstorm. That is the least of our problems though. Magnemite quad resists flying type moves, so that's really not going to be good as it rules our best move out, unless I want to rely on crits, which I kinda don't. That leaves quick attack as the other option, and that's not the best. I suppose I might have to go return. This goes bad as we have our first loss of the run and probably the first loss of many versus Colrus as we crit our return, but Magnemite survives thanks to Sturdy and we get hit with Thunderwave. That's going to be a massive issue throughout this run. He heals it, and though we do wear it down again, we have got paralysis to contend with, and the fact that Magnemite keeps landing Spark on us isn't very healthy at all, as we take 3 of them over the course of the fight. I suppose we should just be grateful that Magnemite isn't a physical attacker, or it would probably have been worse. But we do at least beat Magnemite in the end. The problem is we're so weak come that end that Clink can come in and finish us off with Gear Grind, so I think I need more levels. I come back at level 31 and this time it goes a lot better, but I suppose there's not much of a chance it could have gone too much worse. Again, we get paralysed and that is a big issue as Magnemite survives return on a quarter health, but at least it stops him from healing it, which is a pretty big thing. We get zapped with Spark, but we do take it out with a second return. Clink does have Thundershock and proceeds to use it, but, and I am taking some consolation from this, it is at least not stab. We do get fully paralysed at one point and it takes 3 hits to take it down. 2 from return and 1 from air cutter, as I tried to hope it'd do more damage than return, and also hoping for a crit. But we got really lucky when it used charge at the end rather than attacking, because we might not have been so lucky otherwise. We have the Electric Gym next, and there is one saving grace here, in that, although we are going to be risking super effective move damage against us, they don't at least resist us on Elisa's team, just like the Magnemite does on Colrus's, so that's something. I grind up to level 42, I put a Cherry Berry on and make my way towards the fight with Elisa. I don't know how this will go, but we shall see. I make 2 tries and yeah, they go exactly the same way, and I quickly realise that I've got no chance right now. Why is that, you might wonder? Well, we're slower than Emolga and keep getting smacked with Volt Switch. It swaps out into Flaffy both times, who we can at least one hit and outspeed, so that's something. But then it's a matter of Emolga coming back out once again and hitting us with another Volt Switch, which, while we can survive a first one, a second one is very much fatal for us. Even with the leftovers, I doubt we get enough health back to survive, so it's a case of grinding until we're fast enough, I guess. I go and grind up to level 45 and try again. We will see if something gives here. It is odd thinking of a flying type Pokemon as slow, but Pidove has definitely been giving that vibe across the entire run. Odd, especially since you have racing pigeons. Mind you, we need to be able to outspeed Zeb Striker too, or alternatively, be strong enough to 2-hit Emolga with quick attack. We'll see. This time goes insanely well, as we are fast enough to outspeed Emolga and we smack it down with return, though unfortunately we get paralysed with static. Not an issue since I have a Cherry Berry on and we promptly heal that status condition, though I am worried for the rest of the fight now. Flaffy is second and we smack it down with return, thankfully not getting paralysed before Zeb Striker is last. It is faster, unfortunately, and hits us with Volt Switch, but we survive the move and crash a return into it to give us a vital win and the 4th badge. Phew, that's a relief. More travelling next as we make our way towards Driftvale and the 5th gym. This is one that could go either way. Clay is a lot tougher in this game than the previous one, not least because we'll start off intimidated by Crocoroke, I'm pretty sure of it. Therefore exists the massive possibility that we struggle to damage Excadrill. Let's find out. It's not even close. We face off and, as predicted, get intimidated at the start. That said though, Crocoroke is easy as we crit an air cutter on it and take the opponent down hard for a win. But Excadrill is next. It is faster and hits us with Rock Slide for less than half our health, which is okay. Air Cutter doesn't crit though, and does pretty much nothing. On the second turn, it lands Rock Slide again and flinches us, so we are in red health and our chances are pretty much gone. We do hit a quick attack, but it takes us out with Slash. Nuts. I do a bit of training and then come back at level 48. I also look at the moveset and I have something approaching a plan. I don't know how well it'll work, but it is better than what I had before. See, Crocoroke doesn't have swagger like I thought. It has 2 ground moves, Crunch and Torment. Now, I wonder if I can power up on Crocoroke. Let's go and see. Thankfully, Crocoroke never goes for Torment because that would have messed us up otherwise. We managed to get 3 workups going while Crocoroke hits us with 3 crunch attacks that never crit and never drop our defence because both of those would have been bad. They hit us for about 30 points of health a pop, give or take, but we can mitigate a bit of it with the leftovers. We get knocked down to about the half health mark, and I strike Crocoroke with an Air Cutter that crits and takes it out. Excadrill is next, and this time we are faster, and it narrowly survives a crit Air Cutter on red health, but it eats the Citrus Berry, and that takes it out of the healing range. It then misses Rock Slide, yay, so we're definitely having a lucky fight, and then we take it out with a second Air Cutter. Sandslash is last and it has low special defence, I believe, and our Air Cutter strikes it hard, critting and dropping it to give us the 5th badge. I don't know how many efforts it will take to beat Colrus at the World Pokemon Tournament, so I try to get through it as fast as I can. I don't really regard these as proper battles as part of the run because there's no experience and I'm forced to have 3 Pokemon in my party, which is obviously going to create an issue if Pidove gets knocked out. I make my way through Chargestone Cave. This is as good a place as any, and I usually think that to start talking about what is ongoing with the channel. This feels like a weird video. It feels like a lot of my recent challenges have been operating at about the 40+ minute mark, so it feels like we got here quite quickly. Maybe I'm wrong. There were 2 new series started this week on the channel, as we had episode 1 of the playthrough of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on Wednesday, which was fun to play again, despite OBS crashing near the end during Deku Tree exposition. There were also episodes of Resident Evil 4 Remake on Monday and Friday, the first 2 episodes of me playing that game very badly. Sunday had episode 11 of Hogwarts Legacy. We're still doing that, but I've not played it for about a month now, so I'm just uploading through my backlog of episodes. There was also episodes 22 and 23 of Pokemon Gold Unova. I actually just entered Driftdale City there, so this is relatively topical where I'm doing this. In case you're thinking 23 episodes to get there, it is actually the 9th gym in that game, not the 5th. Challenge-wise, this is the second launch of Second Chance Month, and it is a hark back to Bird Pokemon Month. Next week will be something special, as I see if I can beat Pokemon Fire Red with just a single Pikachu. That is a dual hark back to both Rodent Month and Starter Month. I was originally going to do that challenge in yellow, but I think this might be harder. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comments section down below or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. Also, while you're down there, if you want to support the channel, you can find a link to my Patreon. If you can't or don't want to, then tell someone who might like this stuff. It costs nothing, and never underestimate the power of the word of mouth. Either way, folks, thanks for watching, thanks for being here. I appreciate it, truly. Now, back to the show. The Flying Gym is next, and this could be interesting. If not for Skarmory, I don't think this would be that bad, but even though I spent some time getting the shards I need for Heatwave later in the game, it's not until the same time as the 8th badge, so a fire move won't help me here. Now, we lose the first attempt and it's not helped by our speed, so we are slower than Swoobat. I'd like to know how, given Swoobat looks like it shouldn't be fast, and we get hit with 3 acrobatics attacks while we work up twice. Acrobatics doesn't do a massive amount of damage, but they do sting a bit. 3 of them do well over half our health, and we are hurting when we knock it out with return. Swanner is also faster and lands air slash, which thankfully doesn't flinch us, but it does put us in red health, even though we down it with return. Skarmory, we are faster than, but our air cutter doesn't crit, and then it lands a crit of its own with Steel Wing to take us down. Training time then. I go do some grinding, then come back at level 62. I am genuinely worried that we're going to run out of levels here, given the way this looks. Might this challenge be the first one that I can't complete? Let's see. Let's see how we do in this rematch. Swoobat does land some heart stamps this time, and though they don't do much damage, there is a chance that they could flinch us, which they do on at least one occasion. We go for 2 workups, but we get hit a lot, considering that we are still slower than Swoobat. We're also not helped by it critting acrobatics and putting us under the half health mark, but eventually we take it down. Thankfully, we are faster than Swanner this time and can one-hit it with return before it can start hurting us. Last is Skarmory, and we go for a return, which crits and puts it on red health while it goes for agility. She heals, and all the while we're healing our wounds with the leftovers. Our second return does about 3/4 of its health, and then we get hit with Steel Wing, which we shrug off and down it with a second return. 6 badgers down. The next major fight is a rival battle, and there's only like 5 before the league in this game, and I feel like this might be the one with the fewest number of rival fights altogether. Handy bit of trivia. Anyway, it's a fight that is more annoying than difficult. We try to land return on Unpheasant, but it goes for detect, and I am sick of that move in this run. At the second attempt, we take it down with that move, that return. Samurott is next, and I don't think it is faster, but it does keep spamming Aqua Jet on us. We get hit with 2 of them, but 2 of our returns are enough to take it down. Simisage is last, and this is annoying as I go for Air Cutter and it misses. Oh dear. We get hit with 2 seed bombs over the course of this fight. It survives our second attempt at Air Cutter. That move is great if it crits. If it doesn't, it's a waste of space. He heals it and we drop it with return out of disgust. Dragon Gym is next. I'm glad we are getting to one that I can at least cut loose on and not worry about our attacks being resisted. I'm sure there is a chance that we're going to get hit hard, but given I'm past level 70, I'm hoping that we can tank a few shots. I'm going to power up and hopefully we don't get messed up too badly by Druddigon. The one I have to be careful of is Flygon because it has Rock Slide. I just hope we are faster. We go for 2 workups versus Druddigon, getting hit with 2 crunchers in exchange. One of them being a crit because, of course, that doesn't help, but we shrug it off for sure. I don't think it has Rough Skin as an ability. Bulbapedia tells me it doesn't. Neat. We drop it with return. We are thankfully faster than Flygon and drop it with return to put us 2 up, and then it's the face-off with Haxorus, and we smash it with return to give us the victory, and that's badge number 7. Moving on. The Water Gym is last, and we can learn Heat Wave in the same city. That's not a route I'm going to go just yet though, because it's not going to do us too much good versus Marlon. I wish we got a better move for dealing with Caracosta, if I'm honest. Let's see how this goes. And the answer is way better than I thought, as we strike Caracosta with return and it does very little damage. Thankfully though, it goes for Shell Smash, and while it's moderately terrifying in one sense, it has lowered its defences. We do get smote, a mighty blow from Smackdown that wipes out a lot of our health, but we can down it with 2 more returns. Wailord is next, and it survives return on a sliver while going for Amnesia. As he heals, I go for Workup, and we take it down with return in the next round. Jellicent is last. Now I gamble. I go for another Workup because I don't want to have to hit that thing more times than necessary. Largely because it could have the Cursed Body ability, and we only have 1 move capable of hitting it. We get blasted with Scald, but don't get burned, thankfully. That would have been fatal before we drop it with Aerial Ace. Colress then is the next major fight, and I've been dreading this for a while because of the prospect of having to beat a Magnetone and a Magnezone, both who have Thunderwave and Sturdy. This is not going to be fun. You might have noticed I've been carrying Taunt on my moveset. This is to stop Thunderwave, and with Heatwave 2 we might have a chance. I think I'll need to be massively over-leveled for it, but we shall see. We are already 30 plus levels on Magneton after the water gym, and I still think it might not be enough. I make several tries and it really doesn't happen. There's a way to do it, but I don't think we're strong enough at the moment, and I work out how it could be done on the last attempt before going to go and grind. First, we need a Cherry Berry and we Heatwave Magneton. It'll survive and use Thunderwave, but will heal with the berry, but we'll then be able to take it down with Return and Heatwave. We'll have to taunt Magnezone and stop the Thunderwave, and then tank a Discharge, all while taking it out with Heatwave and Return. So, in that attempt, we did beat the two dangerous ones and got Klinklank to within a few millimetres of knockout, but we just weren't strong enough and it knocked us out with Thunderbolt. That can be done then. Let's go train. I'm not sure what I'll need to be, but I'm thinking at least level 85. At least. I figure that out and decide to take it a few steps further, returning to Colress at level 88. Largely because walking back to him is a pain and I'd rather not do it more than I need to. It takes about 10 minutes worth of effort, and it is a massive relief when I do manage it because we lose so many efforts to a combination of Heatwave missing and or getting paralysed. There is also an effort where we do get to Klinklang and fail to knock it out with Heatwave. We use Return on Magneton, get paralysed and heal with the Cherry Berry. I only had one left, so I needed to reset every time we lost. We then take Magneton out with Heatwave. Not a guarantee that move lands. Versus Magnezone, we have to taunt to stop the Thunderwave, then use Return to break the Sturdy, tank the Discharge, which wipes out 90% of our health, and hope we don't get paralysed, then land Heatwave to finish it. Klinklang, we can finally one-hit with Heatwave thanks to a high damage roll before Metang is fourth and we crit our Heatwave to take it out before Beheeyem is last, and since it isn't a steel type, I smash it with Return to give us a victory. At last! Mind you, my excitement might have to be short-lived as I remember what comes next, and this could be rough as we have a Getsis encounter next, and I think I might be right to be worried as Getsis is an incredibly rough opponent, especially in the first game. Now, I was going to rejig my moveset before this fight, and then I remembered what he likes to do, so I keep Taunt for the moment. Before we can fight him, there is a bit where he tries to straight up murder us by getting Kyurem to impale us with shards of ice, but we are saved by N and Reshiram. You may be wondering why I do challenges in Black 1 but White 2. There is a simple answer to this. When I had a DS and the physical copies of the game, I had White 1 and Black 2, so I'm just kind of working in reverse. That's the reason. It's a hark back to a console that I've since gotten rid of and replaced again, and games I've replaced again, because clearly I'm an idiot. Before Getsis, we have to fight Kyurem White, and given it has a special attacking ice move, this could be rough. We smash a Return into it, which it survives, and then, for whatever reason, goes for Slash, which we shrug off and then lay it out with another Return. Oh dear, what was he doing there? The actual fight versus Getsis' team is deeply cathartic, as I've spoken about beating him with this method before. We still have Taunt, and that's going to be good because it stops him from using Toxic with his Cofagrigus, which is a slow fatality in single Pokemon runs. We then start using Workups, while it uses Psychic attacks on us, the second of which crits because, of course, when the Taunt wears off, I use another one, but he doesn't try to Toxic us that time, rather going for another Psychic that leaves us weak. I fire a Heat Wave at him, which he survives, and when he heals, we go for another Workup, a third one, and then we drop Cofagrigus with Heat Wave. Second is Electros, and I knock it down with Return to give us an easy second win. Hydreigon is third, and once again we take it down with Return as we are on a roll now. Fourth is Seismitoad, and I have to be careful here because of Poison Touch. I forget how that ability actually works, so I had nothing to worry about, but we drop it with Return. Toxicroak is fifth, and it lands Sucker Punch, but we take it down with Return before Drapion is last, and we once again floor it with Return. Moving on then, the league awaits. I fight my way through Victory Road, and there's a fight with the rival before we can move on to the Elite Four. I'm a bit worried that there's certain stuff in the game that's still outspeeding us, even though we are nearly 40 levels higher. Stuff like Zeb Striker and Electabuzz. I'm sure glad none of the Elite Four use those. Anyway, Hugh's Unpheasant survives Return and hits a crit facade for decent damage, which is annoying. He heals it, but our next return gets a high damage roll and we drop it for a victory. I think we have the superior Dove. I just realised it's a dove, not a pigeon. Then again, Unpheasant, get this, is a pheasant. Samurott is next and we land a one-hit crit with Return to take it out, which is a massive relief. Next is Bouffalont and it survives our return before landing Wild Charge, and I'm momentarily worried before we survive the move and we can take it out on the next turn. That was possibly distressing. Last is Simisage and we drop it with Aerial Ace for a victory. Phew! Moving on. Here are our stats at level 92. Attack is decent, physical defence is okay, speed a little bit worse, and it all goes downhill from there. I think that there's cause for optimism with what's ahead though. I still have Taunt ahead of Chantal and her Cofagrigus since it likes to use Will-O-Wisp. Once that fight is out the way, it's going to be full ahead Boat with Work Up. That won't be easy since it stops us using our best move. Grimsley should be easy. I'd be a bit worried about Caitlyn due to our low special defence, but we should have enough to overpower her. Marshall could be rough due to other factors like stat debuffs and that annoying sturdy ability on Sork. Plus, Mienshao will likely outspeed us. And also, let's not forget that Iris has the potential to be rough, given she has 2 rock types and an ice type on her team, and that's not including move coverage. Take your guesses on if we can do it at this level or not right now, folks. I go Chantal first. We will taunt the Cofagrigus and take it from there. That is my plan and I intend to stick to it. I wish that I could power up though. Not having Work Up is going to be possibly painful. Still, we'll have to make the most of it. I'm worried about everything bar Golurk. This might be misplaced. I think this could be the hardest battle. I have 7 rare candies, so I will go max level if need be. I make several stabs at Chantal, but even at this level, it doesn't feel like it's happening. Our final attempt, before I decide to call it for a moment, results in a knockout versus Cofagrigus, thanks to a crit, and a knockout versus Driftblim, thanks to a crit. But versus Chandelure, we don't crit, and despite having most of our health left, we get one shot with Fire Blast due to having low special defence and Chandelure being a special attacking monster. Most of the efforts, we got burned by Cofagrigus, which ends it as a challenge, or we got thunderbolted by Driftblim on one occasion. I guess I'll come back. Let's go try some of the other options. I replace Taunts with Work Up and go decide I'm going to fight Caitlyn and see how this one goes. I'm reasonably confident, especially if we can get a Work Up off, because Return is a pretty powerful move, I know that much. So it goes reasonably interesting. We very nearly lose, but there is redemption. She starts with Mashana and we smack into it with Return. I'm hoping for a swift knockout, but it survives and hits us with Yawn. That's really not good. I power up with Work Up on the next turn as we fall asleep. Then we get hit with 2 Dream Eaters, which nearly knock us out. I'm not happy about that. I think that we're going to wipe, but we wake up at the last moment and take it down with Return. Phew! Sigilif is a one-hit with Return, which is massive, before the next opponent is Gothitelle, and I'm shocked when we also one-hit that with Return. I figured it might survive and do something unpleasant to us. Last is Reuniclus, and we also take that down in a single hit for the victory. Whoop whoop! I'll try Grimsley next and see how that one goes. We are going to get intimidated at some point. So I need to get at least 2 workups off, I think. This could be tricky, but I guess we'll have to do it if we want to win the challenge. Well, duh, I've said some dumb things in my time. Let's do this. Lipard hits us with fake out and then proves to be faster than us, which definitely isn't good considering the level difference, but we'll have to get on with it. We get hit with 2 Night Slash attacks, thankfully neither of them critting, but we shrug them off as we use workup twice, and I needed that to be strong enough to the rest of the fight. We have to take another Night Slash, a 3rd Night Slash, and then we down Lipard with return. Scrafty is out next and we fire an aerial ace into it to take it down hard and put us 2 up in the fight before Crocodile is out 3rd and we get intimidated. It doesn't matter, we down it with return before Bisharp is last. Our physical attack might have been lowered, but our special is still at +2 and we melt it with Heatwave for the win. 2 down. I'll tackle Marshall and see how this goes. I think we'll need at least 1 workup to hit throw because I have a horrible feeling a Rock Tomb might be coming our way. Still, what are the chances that Rock Tomb is actually going to land? We saw the accuracy chances of Rock Tomb last week when I did Emerald with a single Aaron. Let's see how we go here. We work up versus throw and all my worries about Rock Tomb come to naught as it hits us with payback. Okay, weird. We down it with Aerial Ace on the next turn for a win before it's onto the fight with Conkelder and we take it down with another Aerial Ace. Sork is 3rd and it's annoying because it has Sturdy. It survives Aerial Ace and hits us with Rock Slide for big damage before he heals. The irritating thing about Sturdy is it doesn't work like a Focus Sash, which is annoying as we have to break it again and take it out with 2 Aerial Aces. Last is Mien Shao. I am shocked we outspeed and we drop it with Aerial Ace. 3 down. I use my rare candies to boost my levels up before going against Chantal again, and I replace the leftovers with a roast berry to cure burns since that's a very real worry. I figure I might as well go maximum level since we can't take those candies with us and boost to level 100 before going into the fight again. First turn, I use workup and we get hit with Psychic. Oh yes, not that that's good, but it's better than the alternative. We blast Caphagrius with Heatwave, but it survives on red health and lands Will-O-Wisp. Never mind, that's why we have the berry. When she goes for the full restore, I confidently use another workup and then we end it with another Heatwave. I guess we cremated that coffin, ha ha! Next is Driftblim and we drop it with Aerial Ace, but the aftermath friggin' hurts, I know that much. Chandelure is 3rd and we strike an Aerial Ace to down it, unlike last time, but thankfully we don't get burned before Golurk is last. Oh yeah, she doesn't have Jellicent in this game. We strike Golurk with Aerial Ace to give us a win and move on to the champion. Iris then. I think we could be okay. I want to try and get 1 workup at least going versus Hydreigon. And I do appreciate the level of foolishness required to think that powering up versus an absolute beast of a pseudo-legendary is the best possible plan. Trust me, I may know what I'm doing. There's like a 10% chance that I've thought this through. Aggron is going to be brutal and I want my Heatwave to hurt it considerably. I could see that being the one that comes out second. Our first effort is interesting. We work up versus Hydreigon and get hit by Dragon Pulse for about 100 points of damage. I don't want to take chances and we drop it with return to put us 1 up in the fight. Next is Lapras and that also goes down to return before we move on to the next opponent, which is Life Orb, Sheer Force, Drudigon, and we hit that with a return to take it out. Archeops is 4th and this is where things go wrong as it is faster and hits us with Rock Slide. We do put it on red health with return, but she heals and we strike another return to put it in red health again. It lands another Rock Slide to leave us on 1 HP before we take it down. Aggron is 5th and although we put it on red health with Heatwave, it survives and ends us with Double Edge, which is just annoying. So close, but so far. I will make some more attempts. Maybe get another workup on Hydreigon. Maybe hope that Rock Slide misses from Archeops. We'll see what works and what doesn't. I make the best part of an hour's worth of attempts trying different combinations, trying the leftovers and the shell bell alternatively to see which gives us more luck, more health recovery. I try using different moves at different times to see what result it has, and there is one thing that consistently gets us. So, Archeops has Rock Slide, a 90% accuracy move that I figure will eventually miss, and when it does, we're going to be able to take it down easily. That's my confident prediction. I feel very strongly in this belief. So, how many times did Rock Slide miss, you ask? Never? Does anyone want to guess never? Well, I think that'd be a good guess, as the accuracy mechanics of this game makes me want to scream. There's so many efforts where we down Hydreigon, Lapras and Druddigon and go into Archeops with our attack at +2 and our health at about the halfway mark, only for Rock Slide to land and end it as an effective contest as it takes us out. There must have been at least 20 attempts. On one of them, Archeops did go for acrobatics twice and we took it out, only to miss the heat wave on Aggron and get taken out with, you've guessed it, Rock Slide. Heat wave being another 90% accuracy move because, of course, don't forget the golden rules of accuracy. Mind you, I'm going to stop whinging about moves not missing because of what eventually happens. We go for one workup versus Hydreigon, we get hit with the Dragon Pulse, and then we go on the sweep with Return, taking down Hydreigon, taking down Lapras, who we can't power up on because of Ice Beam, and Druddigon, who also has a Rock Slide. Aggron does as well. Then we are almost at full health going into Archeops, and it goes for acrobatics, which means we smash a Return into it, which it survives. When she heals, we go for workup, and although she does hit a Rock Slide, because again, of course, we survive it on red health and take it down with Return. This time, we land Heat Wave on Aggron and take it down for more Shell Bell health recovery. And I hope we have enough health left to face Haxorus. We are faster at first, we smash Return into it, and it survives thanks to the Focus Sash and goes for Dragon Dance. Uh-oh, I think she'll heal and I cackle triumphant, only for her not to heal and go for Dual Chop. This makes up for the previous hour as Dual Chop misses and we smack Haxorus down with Return to give us the win. We win the run and we can go and enter the Hall of Fame at long last. I truly friggin' hate this slow bird now, so the name was apt. Wow, that was brutal versus Iris. Mind you, the last White 2 challenge was as well, but for different reasons. Then it was Hydreigon murdering Onix and Geodude with Surf. Here it was an Archeops with Rock Slide. Thank goodness that's over. This definitely lived up to the notion of a challenge, as Pidove is terrifyingly bad. Good call, Jason Cabanut, for suggesting this challenge. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Help it grow. I've been ploughing a lot of my time into this of late and I'm hoping that it'll pay off. Join me again next time for another Pokemon challenge as I return to Generation 3 Kanto and see if I can beat Pokemon Fire Red with just a single Pikachu. Sure to be another hard one. I can see the early game being absolutely brutal in that run for sure. Join me and we'll see how that one plays out. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comment section down below or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. Outro time. This was a tough go at it, but I think I'm proud of it. Next week is going to be my final Pokemon challenge for a week and I'm ready for the break. It will be the first time I've not done one in quite a long time. Since, I want to say August 2021. Wow, that's been a while. At the time of airing, just over a week until I jet off to Croatia. I'm actually looking forward to a breather for sure. It's been far too long since I left the country and had an actual holiday. Hopefully I come back refreshed. I am going to jump off here. I was supposed to have surgery recently, but it's been rearranged until after I come back, so that's lurking on the horizon. Nothing major, but there is the potential for it to go wrong, and I'd like to say I'm not worried, but I'm a little worried. You've always got to be a bit worried when it comes to something like that, but we'll see. There's plenty of people in a lot worse positions, so maybe I should just shut up moaning. As always, folks, this has been Once and Future Gamer, and this has been Pokemon White 2 with a single Pidove. Take care now, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye now. So long, farewell.